That's all you get. All right, it all started in 2008 when Olivia Spencer and Natalia Rivera, Aitora, is that right? Did I say that right? Aitora. Yeah. Fell in love and the soap opera Guiding Light. When Guiding Light was canceled the following year, actors Crystal Chappell and Jessica Leccia weren't ready to let Otalia go, and neither were the fans. Then as the series was born and became the ultimate tribute to fans, add the fabulous Nadia Bjorlin to the mix, and you have a groundbreaking and long-standing web series with its own legacy. So please give a warm welcome to Crystal Chappell, Jessica Leccia, and Nadia Bjorlin. Welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, you gotta turn that on there, Crystal.
I like you.
Hello.
No?
Okay, that works. Is everyone locked and loaded?
Yeah.
You good? Okay. Oh yeah. All right, so let's start from the very beginning.
It's a very good place to start.
Thank you, Nadia.
Sorry, I couldn't help it.
I appreciate it. I was hoping somebody would take the mantle on that. Olivia and Natalia were not friends to begin with. No. But they managed to get through it and become a very beloved coupling in soap opera history. How did the relationship aspect of Otalia really start to come about?
Well, first Gus died. But before that, there was a lot going on here. Little rivalry.
Yeah.
I think Olivia, I don't want to speak for Olivia, but she was going through some things health-wise and was clinging to love, and her heart was like, and it was going. Her heart was going, and she needed to get it going. Is that how you want to?
I think you summed that up perfectly.
You did a really good job, right? Okay. So then, yeah, naturally there's this rivalry, and it was a love triangle thing, which is pretty typical in soaps. You know, very typical.
Never.
And then Gus died, and Natalia made the decision to donate Gus's heart to Olivia. So you see how magical that is?
Like you do.
That is
Like you do.
built-in magic. And I would sit by her in the hospital and look at her, watch her chest rise. And it was beautiful, and that's where it all started.
So I'm loving the recap of the story. I guess I kind of meant how did it come about?
Exactly as I just said.
I love these ladies. But obviously there was
I'm gonna say, not even being involved in this, but they were like, look at her, look at her. Yes. It would be a crime to not put these two together. It's definitely hot. I speak the truth.
I mean, I spent a lot of time rewatching YouTube clips of Otalia, and I mean, yeah. You guys have terrific chemistry together, obviously, but so was that the impetus for the decision to make this coupling happen?
I don't think so. I think it was a story that Ellen Wheeler and Jill Hurst wanted to tell. And they knew our end was on the horizon, and they took some chances and probably didn't disclose a lot to the network and show and surprise and just sort of subtly laid it in. I think that's how that really came about. I think they snuck it in, that story. So and then that slow burn. We did a lot
You
of
know the
laundry.
lesbians love a slow burn.
Yeah. A lot of laundry.
Gentle hand holding. I love a good like cheek graze. I know that's a good slow burn too. Well, why do you think the fans connected so much with Otalia?
In my experience, what I heard, the feedback that I heard was that because it was, oh God, I hate this stupid thing. Because it was organic. Because like I said, it was a slow burn, and as realistic a story as you could get in a non-realistic story, as far as a relationship goes. I mean, the parameters of the story were, he dies and you give him his heart, and now I have to watch you because you've got his heart. But underneath all that was a real, genuine growth of a relationship, and then the romance was all there without it being like a slap in the face lesbian story. Look, we're doing a big lesbian story. It wasn't anything like
I
that.
love
It
those
was
two though.
and I like
Me
slapped
too.
you in the face with that lesbian. Yes. Well, who doesn't? However, I think those had been done a little bit, and so I think people liked to watch people fall in love as opposed to just let's bring in this certain type of character.
Sweeps. Right, exactly.
Yeah, I got a lot of this is my life. This is a true representation. It's not necessarily the big fantasy storyline. This is my life. And I remember, reading. This was like the beginning of Twitter. Do you remember
Yes.
before Twitter? It was, and people were. I was reading. They're going, are they going to do this? Are they going to do this? And it was just so subtle, and it really was nice to hear that people said, no, that's my life. It's so nice to see that on a show.
Nadia, do you have anything to add? Because, you were obviously in this world at this time. Was this kind of making waves even on your show? Like, what was happening over there?
Oh, absolutely. I was hoping that it would wave its way well more into the show I was on.
I'm sure a lot of us did.
Unfortunately, it still had, it has in one way, but not in another. But yeah, I enjoyed watching from the sidelines. That's for sure.
Were you comfortable with how things ended on Kaiser Lake?
No.
More.
Crystal.
More speak, Crystal.
More speak, Crystal. No, which is I pulled Jessica into my dressing room, and we probably had a couple months left, and I just said, so what if I took not this story and not these characters, and we just took it online where people can't fuck it up and we just sort of see what happens? And she was like, sure.
I had no idea what she was talking about.
And I mean that I had no idea. She said web series, and I was like, yes, let's do that. That sounds good. But I trusted that she knew what she was doing, and she, here we are 10 years later.
Well, you still don't know what Twitter is.
I know what it is.
But you were
Just can't
so
wrap my
pretty,
brain
so
around
it
it.
doesn't matter. So, going back to this, how did those wheels of Venice start turning?
I got a lot of letters, and then it turned into actual emails that they would give us. We used to get like fan mail, and it was fan email. And people were sending me letters about that's my life, that's my family, from all over the world, not just within the US. So it was like, oh, this is, and then there were some real big stories, real heartbreaking things that I heard. And it just resonated with me that this was really important to a lot of women. And so that's really where it came from. And I'm a bit of a computer geek. I'm a nerd. I'm proud of it. And I thought, ooh, let's go to the internet where people can watch it on their computers and tweet about it. Not you.
Everyone would have
Yeah. But yeah, so that's really, really what it was. And I reached out to a friend of mine and said, hey, would you write this? And that's where it happened.
Something that always blows me away about Venice is how you got all of these people to be on the show, all of these amazing know that the soap community is very tight-knit and everything, but like, how did you say to your friends in the soap community, so, gonna do this thing in a completely new medium, it's gonna be super gay, you wanna be on it? Like, how did you convince them all to join?
Almost everyone that I asked said sure. I mean, it really was a no-brainer. They just thought it was interesting, it was different. You know, and we love our daytime jobs, but they can be, you know, predictable. And then people want to look for something a little different to do. And gay was never the issue. Never was an issue with any of the people that I asked to come on my show.
I mean, I had a total crush on Crystal when she asked me to. I was like, yes! When do you need me to show up? And where? And how?
How did that conversation go? Exactly like that? I mean,
do you want to talk about it? Because how I ended up in the role was a sort of a complete.
You tell them.
I'm drinking my vitamin water.
vitamin water.
Yeah, no, originally, well, because once we had met, I think the show was already sort of in. It was well into production. It was about to start, and there was a very small role on the show, like in one episode, that Crystal came up to me and was like, "Hey, would you be interested in doing this?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I would love to. I mean, any opportunity to work with her, yes, please."
She didn't know about me at the time.
So it was really supposed to just be a one-day thing, and I don't even think that did this character even make it into the final cut.
I think somebody, yes, I don't know who we got, I'll be honest, but yeah, a model.
Yeah, it was like a one-day model role. So I'm like, that'll be great, fine. That'll be fun. And then the morning of when I was supposed to work, like 2 hours before I was supposed to be there, I got a phone call that was like, "Well, did you read the script?" I was like, "Yeah, I read the script, it was great." "So you know the character Laura?" "Yeah." "Would you be interested in playing her?" Because the actress who was supposed to play her, like, literally just fell out. I actually don't even really know the details. There's no details. It was like she just decided, like, not to show up or something. And I was like, okay. So when do you want me there in 2 hours? What do I need to learn? Oh gosh. All right. And at the time,
I love soap actors or daytime actors for what they can do. It's amazing.
Well, and it was also at the time, and like in the first season, it was like, so we bring our own wardrobe, you know? So I was like, okay, I've got to go back and reread, and like, I've got to create this character in the next 2 hours and show up.
And you were
and
great.
do it. Well, thank you. You were great. And I mean, it was such a blessing, and I'm so happy that happened, and it's one of the greatest blessings of my life, and I'm so thankful.
And this was one of my favorite triangles ever.
Oh, we're getting there.
All my years of triangulating.
I've done a lot of triangulating.
Yeah, this is my favorite triangulating trio.
Well, Nadia, I'm going to stay with you on this because it's never easy to come into a love triangle with two people an audience is already rooting for. Okay.
Yeah.
But you brought such...
I'm a glutton for punishment. I was like, yeah, sure.
But you brought such dimension to Laura, and like, you know, the heck, I was like even confused about who I should be rooting for, you know, and how did you decide to approach this role? And I mean, knowing your history now about how you just kind of dropped from the ceiling into
my
it.
pants, is that the term? And I mean, I guess I had read the script. I remember reading that character and being like, oh man, like I felt bad for her. And I guess I think as an actor in any role, or you can read a whole script and you sort of try to read all the characters and go, what about them do I relate to? What do I empathize with? What do I, what part of this rings true to myself, or have I ever felt this way? And I think that we find in any character that we then sort of get married to, we kind of go, yeah, there's parts of myself that I can relate to or can feel this, or you can understand why somebody would do this, or sometimes you don't. And I felt like this was easy for me because I didn't think she was ever unlikable because there wasn't anything malicious about it. Yes, there's characters you can read and you're like, oh my god,
She did burn that letter.
She
did a couple other things that were a little unstable.
She had a lot of vitamin water though, so.
Do you remember when she hit you with the car?
Oh, then the car thing.
Yeah.
She wasn't looking. This is what you got, the moral of that story is don't text and drive.
There are, obviously there's moments where you're like, ooh, okay, you know, I'm gonna have to find it within myself to justify these actions. But in anything, you justify characters because they're afraid or they're in love or there's so many motivating factors, and I never felt like she was a bad person, and I think that there's many aspects of her that we can all relate to or agree with and disagree with, and that's what I guess I kind of was drawn to.
So with Venice, you broke into this, I mean at the time, fairly new medium. And a lot of web series have come and gone, and some have been successful and others not so much. Why do you think Venice has the staying power it does?
I'm in love with it, and I think
She works really hard.
I love it. I genuinely created it because I felt people asking me to do something. And I'm an activist, and I'm an ally, and this is what I'm going to do. And so it really came from a place of, this has got to happen. We're going to just make this happen. Otalia was important to a lot of people, and so we're going to do this. And so I just think that, and then I've got these wonderful actors who show up every season, like a year apart. I'm going, hey, they're going, sure. I'm like, wow. You know, I mean, that's the conversation. And I don't know. I guess that's the simplest answer. Is there's a lot of love there.
Well, and then the two of you, you're both working actors, and then when Crystal comes calling, you come. So, yeah. What is that thing? Like, what's this magic that Crystal has?
Well, I mean, Crystal is kind of magic. And I for reals had like a total crush on her working on days. So it was like, man, I mean, she just walks in a room and you're like, you know, something very magnetic. But for me, it was a really refreshing change, and I'm not knocking the other job I had at the time. It was just a very refreshing change, and it's such a different character that she trusted me at the last minute even to play, because she believed in me and believed that I could do this, and it's such a vastly different character from like, you know, I don't want to say like the bumbling Chloe.
Do you remember
but
season 2 and
Yeah.
her work in season 2? I blew my mind. It was like some of the best work and that was before we could nominate actors for digital Emmys, and I thought that was
Thank you.
a miss. Because
You saw past Chloe Lane on Days of Our Lives, which, you know, I'm grateful for that too, but sometimes that becomes just very like one-dimensional, sort of an expositional character.
I think as actresses, we judged on how we look, and we're a type, and that's just our business, you know. And so it's nice to sort of get into an environment, whether it's a play or something, where you can really like, you know, do something different and deeper.
And there's so much fun that happens among all of you on that show. I mean, you just sense that everyone just really loves each other.
Oh, absolutely. We also discovered Tito's vodka on the show.
Tito's, one of the ClexaCon
This
sponsors.
is like
Tito's vodka.
There's a story of where Tito's, I don't remember what season, but like this was before anybody knew what it was, and like Tito's was like a sponsor of the show, and they sent all the bottles and stuff, and which is probably not the best thing. which was the greatest thing to happen to our set.
Do you recall a lot of scenes involving Tito's?
Yes, and I remember, Hillary was an expert. No, like, it was, she still drinks it. Like, I mean, there was a lot of, like, people thinking that they became, like, bartender extraordinaires backstage. Like, let me show you how to make the perfect martini. Hillary did know how to do that, actually. But yeah, no, I just think it's funny because I remember at the time we were like, Tito's, like, that's kind of not a great name or a great label. And it turned out, it's blowing. I wish I traded it.
And Tito's has been amazing to the LGBT community.
Yeah.
Like, they're one of the sponsors for ClexaCon. They are.
Are they now? Oops, I just said that. No.
No,
By the
no.
way, that is a vodka
Rewind.
choice for myself. I'm just saying at the time, like, you know, you could be like, what is this Facebook thing? now you're like, oh damn, I wish I would have bought $1 billion stocks.
Right. No, exactly. It really, they really rose up in the last few years. They're
yeah.
awesome. They've been great to the community, and I'm glad that they were on board with you from the
Yeah,
beginning.
they
That's
were
so
from the
great.
beginning.
So,
All right, so give it to us straight. Well, you know how it goes. I think that people, they see the crowdfunding, they see what goes on, what we're allowed to see. But like, give it to us straight. Like, how hard is it to put on a show of this size, of this caliber? I mean, what does it take? Because I think that we're all going through so much. We see crowdfunding all the time now. Back when, initially it was starting, like, it was still, that wasn't happening as much, but like, help us understand how important our support is for a show like this.
I mean, I can do a cost breakdown for you if you want. That's not going to be very interesting.
Do it.
All right. Well, if you take, I think our initial goal was 100,000, and my goal was 185, and I've sadly become adept at looking at a script and going, yeah, I know how much that's going to cost to make, because it might be $5,000 in insurance, because you have to have workman's comp and things like that, and then you go into states, and depending on even cities like Huntington Beach, they might charge $800 a day in permit fees. Do you know what I mean? And then you're paying, I go through Airbnb, this is such fucking boring shit, I'm so sorry. And then you go through Airbnb and it's like, you might get a project, something for $800 a day, but if they find out you're a production, you go, no, I'm small. And they still want more money. These actors eat a lot, even though they say they don't.
The Tito's budget must
How
be
dare
huge.
you?
The
Tito's was free.
The actors get the smallest part of the budget, honestly. So when these people show up, they show up because they love the project. They really do get the smallest part of the project. The crew, if you want cameras that look nice, it's probably about $8,200. But right off the top, Indiegogo takes a percentage. So I think out of that 100, they took 11,000, or 108, they took 11,000 something, close to 12,000 off the top. I know, but that's their business. And what else? There's so many things: insurance, permits, locations. My locations just came back and said, we need more money because you're shooting. Like, this was just like last week. They were very nice about it, and I said, okay, how about this much more to make things good? Hiring crew, I have to pay for their gas. Hotels, airfare, which have gone up like in the last 2 months. It's just, it all adds up, and it's about 185 for this, but if I can hit 170, I usually put about $20,000 of my own money into Venice.
I just think it's really important that people understand what all that goes towards, and I think it really makes it, it's really sobering when you do hear that.
I spent, part of season 5, the reason this is going to be better for me, we spent $240 in season 5, but we did 2 different productions. So I was flying my East Coast actors out twice, and you can't get a decent hotel room in LA for, less than $180 a night. It's just crazy, and then you have to feed people, and it really does add up. It's like it's a lot of money to do it.
So the crowdfunding campaign for Venice Season 6 is currently going strong. Hey, you don't have to say, I'll say it for you. Okay, so you've been on hiatus since 2017. You're working on the new season. You have a new writer. We pointed out earlier that she's shy.
Oh, I
Just
just pay her too.
Of course. All right, so
Starts on the page.
what can you tell us? Because I'm chomping at the bit. What can you tell us? Anything. Any sneak peeks. Anything. Anything.
I'm in prison.
It's temporary. There's a mystery, there's a farmhouse, there's a lot of love between the two ladies. They're trying to figure out, because the dynamics have shifted. Annie's now working and Gina's sort of a stay-at-home partner, wife, and she's not used to that, and so there's that dynamic of shifting roles. There might be a ghost living there.
You love the ghosts.
And
you love the ghosts.
I do. And then there's a young storyline with Sarah and Zoe. Sarah's Elizabeth Scott and Zoe is Mandala Rose. And,
Oh yes, did you know Mandala's going to be in
Mandala's
season
coming on board. I'm so excited. It's simple. It's about relationships and love, but it's funny. It was written with a great deal of hopefully charm and wit that you'll enjoy.
I'm hoping for the Orange is the New Venice spinoff.
Yeah. I'm gonna take over that prison.
I know that a lot of you probably have questions, so come on up, ask your Otalia, ask your Venice questions. We're here for you. And there's over here apparently is where you should stand or come.
Oh.
What?
It's a little warm in here.
It's a little. Yeah, the suit's a little. Anybody? Oh, come on, I know you all have questions.
We're shy.
We're
You're
shy.
Would you
Do I
like
have
a
to come to
microphone?
you? Yeah. I'll ask a question. I'll save you, Dana. Okay. Is it on? I can't tell.
You have to put your mouth.
Go a little closer to it.
Oh. Well, as I get my cold for the con, I'm putting this close to my mouth. Dana, you casually mentioned before we started the Big Purple Dreams website. And I would just like to ask specifically about your interactions with BPD. I was one of the founding members of that, and that's how I met these people right here. So 10 years ago was the first time we ever met. It's because of Big Purple Dreams, and so I'm just curious what that interaction was like for you all related to Otalia and that whole fandom.
I remember it fondly. I think one of the most fun things we did was when we were in Orlando.
Yeah.
And there was.
Yeah, I was there.
I know. And there was a big Purple Dreams contingent there, and I think it was one of the first times that I got to see people face to face and meet you and hugs and things like that. And I think it felt really, it really solidified what was happening. It was one thing to get every now and then people being supportive, but to see you all as a group and to see you all kind of melding together as like a force to be reckoned with was really cool for me. I can't believe it was 10 years ago. And I made sure I wore a purple dress that day. And it was super fun, and I think it's kind of just carried through the past 10 years. You're always there, and we thank you.
So you guys stay in touch, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
10 years, and you're all still hanging out, and you're at ClexaCon together.
Yeah.
That's amazing! That's the power of queer fandom right there.
So I have a question. Are we ever going to find out what happened on the Grove? I would really like to know.
You guys like to know what happened on the Grove? I mean, the trees. What's gonna happen? The trees,
They're still growing on.
They need a lot of water, don't they?
Like about $180,000 for the daughter, maybe?
I actually had dinner with the writer and just a few months ago, and he's going to write next year. He's got a very specific way of writing, so I want to make sure that he's the one who does it. It's a little more political, and we were kind of waiting for the 2020. I have a lot to say. You're amongst friends.
Yeah.
Using really bad language.
That's why they're here.
Friends.
Anyway, probably, yeah.
First of all, love you all. Thank you for the Otalia fandom and doing a great job. I just want to know how you guys emotionally prepared for what I think is probably my favorite scenes was the beach. When you guys confessed your love to each other.
Oh, the graveyard.
Yeah.
10 years ago this week.
And you're both wearing hats.
Graveyard, the gazebo,
Yeah,
the
the-
snowstorm, a wedding, tombstones, snow burns.
Do you remember that?
I do.
You were very pregnant.
Yeah, it sure was. And it was outside. It's cold. We're like, I love you, I love you. Snotty.
I thought it was really well written.
I mean, I loved it so much. I loved being a part of that love story. I was so excited to have any story, really. And then they said that I would be working with Crystal a whole lot, and that it was going to be this. She said, "No." I said, "Who?" No, I'd only been there like a hot second. I was like, "Oh my God, you're not firing me." That's so great. And they told me the story, and it was so exciting. And then that was really, that scene was really, what I hoped for that would happen. A manifestation of something real between them, and it was really exciting. No matter what was going on in the elements, it was really fun.
Well, it was, it's still soap, so it had to come out like, oh, you. To do it like that, they teach that at soap school.
And then immediately cut to commercial.
And then make you do it again when you come back the next day.
Roll back. I just thought it was so well written, and I was wondering how they were going to handle all of this. And I keep going back to Ellen Wheeler and Jill Hurst because they really did that. They wrote like the dialogue together, and they spent a lot of time and took care of it, and sort of kept, like I said, certain people and networks and organizations out of it. And so those were some of my favorite scenes. I just thought it was so organic, and just touched a lot of people. So I think that's just kind of fun.
Okay, this is a question for Jessica. It's pretty silly. So, we all know that the show did a terrible job of making you hold giant things. So, my question is, what was your favorite or the most ridiculous prop that you had to hold too high in your pregnancy?
Honestly, here's my favorite thing. All of a sudden, Natalia was super into baking, so it was like a big mixer. Emma would run in and got all these things going on, but I'm still behind the mixer. The mixer. And then it moved on to landscaping. That was the only thing that they could cover. That's big. I can't believe there wasn't a "I love you" over the mixer. Over the mixer, yes, while it was making things. Yes.
Flowers.
That would have been sexy. Got a little flower. Oh.
I'm here. A lot of us were frustrated that basically everybody, the heads, were all going at it like rabbits. You guys would just give these soulful looks and occasionally touch your fingers together. and you.
That's not how lesbians have sex.
I was so new to it at the time. I was fulfilled. I was like, oh yeah. She started maybe like 37.
Who's the one do you think at CBS who stopped you from even doing a few pecs? Do you think it was the guy they just fired who was the president of CBS?
Talk about putting them on the spot.
I was thinking that about 6 months ago. Oh, that he's the one who totally fucked us over. Otalia, that he's the one who said, "Guy you like that, you know, that you two can't be together, you can't be in bed." And
Probably.
you know, sexist jerk, you know.
Or do you think it's
Hashtag me too.
I don't know.
Okay, don't make them name names.
I honestly don't know. I mean, I just know, and it's not just CBS. It was Procter and Gamble as well, and we don't know. We don't know. It's just that I heard rumors that there were bomb threats over it As the World Turns because of the gay storyline, and they seemed to recover because they woke up in bed to get shirtless, right? And I was thinking, we can't even, you know, kiss. I tried to kiss her on the cheek once in a scene, and they cut it. Yeah. I don't know.
I thought that was off camera, I'm sorry. I don't remember.
Hi, my wife and I are one of the couples that met through the Otalia fandom, so. For bringing us together 10 years ago, we've been married for 8 now, so.
Did you gently grace each other's hands at the wedding?
We did that right, right?
You touched forehead.
We stopped there. She tried to bench slide, so we did. Just one question. Any chance we might see a grown-up Rafe and Emma on Venice this year?
Have you seen them recently?
Yeah. I've seen Rafe, but not Emma.
I mean, they're just so beautiful. I do bear them. I mean, I did go on Jackie's Facebook and look at her face. And I was like, oh, look at you. And, you know, baby Rafe, my little bambino, he's doing so well. And he's turned into a really fine actor, and I'm really proud of him.
I don't know. I don't know, but it's a great idea. Certainly reach out.
Anything can happen in Venice.
I see it. Yep. Hi.
So my question's for Nadia. How did you prepare yourself to deal with all of Laura's issues? Let's call it that.
Just recalling growing up in my own households.
This got serious real fast. That went dark real quick.
I was kidding, kind of, maybe not really. How did I prepare for it? I mean, I kind of just went for it. I kind of, like I said, sort of just approaching even the character. Like I never felt. I always sort of like wanted to wrap my own arms around her. Like I empathized with her and felt like she never had any malicious intent, but was just a person who just kept making bad mistakes, but out of the best reasons and out of love and trying to be perfect. And I think anybody and everybody can sort of understand that, or a part of them can understand that or feel that way. When you're growing up or whatnot, you're trying to please your parents or please whoever, and that you can perhaps get caught up in something that is not very healthy. And I think that's just sort of how I approach it. I really just kind of threw myself into it, and I think it helps to have amazing partners to work with and who you trust, and like we really trusted each other with all our work and all our scenes and everything and going through all of this, and I think we felt very safe, and we just kind of like were there for each other. And you know, I remember we had a lot of kind of ugly stuff, and when you I think have a real genuine affection for each other and sort of like learn to love each other. I mean, I did, and we kind of let each other go into these ugly, dark places, and that's just kind of how it happened. I mean, poor Jess. I kind of.
That's why.
Kind of abuse you. The abuse you were put through.
I totally like it.
I mean, yeah, I guess we felt comfortable about being vulnerable around each other in whatever sense that word is, and we were naked and raw around each other, literally and it was like literally and what's the other word? Figuratively. Wow, I can talk real good today. Yeah, okay.
We're hanging on every word. It's all good. Oh, you know, I'm gonna just jump in here real quick because there's a saying that lesbian fans will follow you your entire career.
Yep.
And now you have this like legion of queer fans that will pretty much support anything you do. Like, as an actor, as a creative, as writers and directors, like, how does that make you feel knowing you have this built-in audience of people who love you and support you no matter what?
Totally grateful, totally privileged. I feel honored. I feel, because I feel you're giving me opportunity to do something I love, and I'm grateful to you for that. But it's so meaningful to me. I'm not a gay woman, but I'm a woman, and I know what it's like to be out there in the world and have people marginalize me, and to be a gay woman and be even more marginalized in this society pisses me off. So. I'll keep producing as long as people want me to. Next.
Oh, you want us all to answer? Of course. I mean, I actually didn't know that till you just said it, but I mean, I feel unbelievably honored and privileged to be.
Oh yeah, the lesbians will follow
amongst
you.
this
To the ends of the earth.
I mean, I feel incredibly honored considering I sort of fell into this. I'm so happy.
Crystal's
I fell
always
into
known
it.
that though. Like I said, she works really hard on this stuff, and she does it honestly because I've looked at her. I've been like, I mean, she goes and goes and goes and goes, and she's constantly doing and doing and doing, and she wears many hats, and it's a lot. But I know that she does it because she loves it, because she knows people want to see it, and she has a relationship with you all that she wants to fulfill her end of. I really admire her for it. She works really hard at it.
And we're honored, and there's a lot of great stories to tell and to keep telling, so love to be a part of it.
I'm so serious about this that when I saw you in that cookie commercial,
Yes!
I went out and bought those.
I mean, this phase
We're
is
serious about it,
right?
I get really excited when I see commercials too.
I do. I need some Toll House right now.
There, it's on now.
Try again.
You're good.
Just one thing. First, our group of people came. We're just another group that has been around. How did you meet your friends? Through Twitter. How long have you been friends? 10 years. And internationally and all that. So we're really grateful for that. The other question I was going to ask is if you can comment for Venice over the years of it. To me, it became like a learning ground. You were asking people who were actors, who wanted to film and do different things. What is that like to make like a place for them to come and to explore their talents as doing part of it and to learn from each other?
What's it like to create them?
what was the environment like? Because I would see things from the sidelines where you're discussing and you're learning together, rather than something from like a set, like at a television station.
Well, you start off with some bad news, which is, okay, you're not gonna have a dressing room, and you'll have to drive yourself, and we don't have a wardrobe budget, and, but what you do have is some creative freedom, and I think that's gold, I think, to a lot of artists, that you can come and create your character within the bounds. I just said, you can even change some dialogue as long as it's within the bounds of, the story. You have to tell the story. And I think that gets me excited as an actor to go and, be able to do something like that. Because you don't get that you go to a movie set or something, you're paid to make the lines work, right? So I want people to feel like they have an artistic stake in it and feel safe. I think the safety part of it is, Nadia or Jessica, they were talking about, it's just something about feeling safe. So you want to create an environment where they're allowed to perform and there's no judgment and nobody's telling you that you're doing it wrong or whatever.
Well, you would have never seen that shower scene on Days of Our Lives. You would have never filmed that. The shower scene.
Yes.
That's a good scene.
We got in the shower. I think I was leaking milk.
Episode 5.
Well, at the time, God bless you, you had just had a baby. I didn't even know, and now I know what that's like. I'm like, holy crap, how the hell was she even
Nadia disrobes, and I'm like,
I was like,
you just stand in front of me. Just cover me with your beauty face and do all this stuff.
No, but this is
Everything.
when, you have to feel safe because they remember you
really
we
do
just
have
have
to.
to. I was like, don't worry, I got you.
That's true.
But I also had no idea. It wasn't until years later when I had my first baby. I was like, oh God, your whole body, everything. It's miraculous, but it's also so, it's so crazy. And the fact that you were still willing to get on naked with us in the shower, and that she was like, I think I might need breast milk on you, and I was like, that's kind of awesome. I guess. My breakthrough thing. You don't get that on Isabel. You do not get that. You do not get breast milk on Isabel. Since your own. Okay, this is going downhill very quickly. You need to buy me a drink first. Right.
But yeah, they're both the easiest women to work with. You've heard rumors about actresses not getting along. That happens, but I've never had, they're both so easy to get along. And the fact that Jessica will get in there with her breast lactating boobs and do a scene in the shower, at least she were gonna get clean, but, and then I'm not hard to look at, or that, boy, okay. Anyway, it was, they're just troopers. I always think, oh my God, I'm so lucky. These women are amazing.
And we're so lucky to have you.
We are.
I think we have time for one more little question. Does anybody have one more question? You're letting me down here, folks.
I mean, Dana, I have another one.
Oh, go for it.
Okay, so, really?
You don't need a
You don't need a microphone.
I don't, but. Okay, who do you think knew that they were in love first?
Oh, this is good.
Olivia or Natalia?
I'm gonna say Olivia.
I'm gonna say Olivia. A lot of denial going on in the poor little Natalia's head. It was a lot.
Yeah, I think Olivia was probably, she'd done her the whole round of Springfield men. And starting back over again. And yeah, I think she was kind of like, oh, well, I'm feeling something there. Well, she's pretty. Well, I want to hang out with her.
That angel face doesn't hurt at all.
And then she crossed herself.
Right to church.
It makes me feel weird.
I actually like that they laid that part of the story in, because I think a lot of people struggle with that. So I thought, okay,
I won. I want to thank you all so much for coming out here and doing this. It's such a pleasure. I've had the honor of talking to all of you over the years, and you're some of my favorite people to interview, and you've always been incredibly gracious and vulnerable and open and funny. So thank you for coming to ClexaCon.